Under the shade of a tree, I can find peace. A peace so profound that I know everything will be alright. Now, have you ever found such peace within yourself? Because more often than not, that is exactly what we need. No matter how we are living our lives, no matter if you're living in the Western world or in a monastery or just in some perhaps poor country where there's not a lot of luxury, what we need most of all is peace. Peace within ourselves. How do we find this peace? I'm sure most of you are aware of the fact that when you go out in nature, that is where we can find peace. Now, why is that? If we think about it, it's because nature is simply existing. It just is. Just be would become the motto of the tree. If it were able to talk, it wouldn't say, I am worried over this or that. I just am. And that is all there is to it. As a human being, we have this consciousness that can go all over the place. We think about stuff that we like, that we dislike, dreams that we hope to achieve, and worries that haunt us at the same time. But here, under the shade of a tree, I can find peace. And I know everything will be alright. Because as the tree would whisper into my soul, is that we have to stand tall and stay strong. If you look at a tree, they're pretty tall. And they're pretty strong, if you think about it. Of course, some you can push over if they're very old or rotting away. But the most of the trees aren't that way. So therefore they are standing tall, providing shade, while staying strong in the wind, the blows of life, as you would say. Now, what is troubling you so much right now? And if you know something that is troubling you, are you able to find peace in the middle of this trouble? Because if you do, you will find that the solution will come to you pretty quickly. Maybe not instantly, or perhaps it would, but it will come. You see, the idea behind this is that if you're peaceful in mind and soul, well, then you have, your mind and spirit open to receive peaceful and helpful and useful ideas. But if the mind is worried and full of stress, it's like we have put up a roadblock inside our consciousness so that the solution can never come to us. What we are most emotionally involved in will influence us to a great degree. So if you can see that if you're full of peace, what will it do to your life? It will do absolutely beautiful things. Every time I contemplate my own existence, I know nothing is permanent, and therefore I should be at peace with myself, first and foremost, and then ultimately with the world. But yet usually we are living in a reactionary mode to the world itself, and we're forgetting about the inner self. We forget about our own well-being. We sacrifice our own well-being to make others happy. But it was never our job to make others happy. It is our job to keep ourselves in harmony with happiness and the highest good that we are capable of experiencing and sharing with the world in our own ways. In order to do so, we need to be at peace with ourselves, so that we may perceive what to do, what next step to take. Do you want peace for yourself? Have you gone out to nature and embraced the silence and energetic calmness that exists in there? I've noticed this many times when I would walk into the forest. Coming from the city, it's like this calm energy just washes over you, and you can sense a certain stillness and calmness in the depths of nature. But then as you walk back out of the forest into the city, you can feel this energetic chaos. And it makes sense. There's so much going on in a city with people, with cars, with all sorts of activity, that it's no wonder that we as human beings in the Western world especially have lost touch with the most important thing in life, which is we have lost touch with ourselves, with our own hearts. It is in the spiritual self, in the heart, in the true depths of your own consciousness, that you can find peace. So it isn't really about going into nature as much as realizing that that peace comes from within and is felt within you. And if you can feel it within yourself, And then you can stand in any sort of society and still be at peace, at ease. And then from that place of ease, you can take proper actions to guide yourself and others in the right direction, towards salvation, towards a brighter future, because that is what we're ultimately all aiming for. As we're born, we are forever trying to experience a greater and greater life for ourselves first and foremost, and then incidentally we share it with others. But in order to do so, we gotta stay true to ourselves. We gotta stay in harmony with our own heart. We gotta be at peace with ourselves. And you can find this peace under the shade of a tree. As you're sitting or standing there, just feel deeply the silence. Hear the wind and leaves blow. Hear the animals if there are any. Hear the birds. Just be at peace. Can you do this? Most people can't. They're so trained to take action non-stop, to react to the world, that it feels abnormal to just stand still and listen and be silent. But it is in the silence you find your greatest strength, because in the silence is beyond the chaotic madness of the world. It is through the silence of the soul that your solution and salvation will come, that the answers will come that you need in order to progress on a road that is most meaningful to you. Really take it to heart. Really consider this for yourself. If you haven't been doing this for yourself, taking the time off to be at peace, you should start implementing this in your daily routine. And if you can't do it daily for whatever reason, at least do it regularly on a weekly basis, because it's going to help you out tremendously. This is a form of meditation. Some people find it easier to meditate out in nature. I personally can meditate either in my living room or in nature. It doesn't really matter where I am. Even if I would be sitting in a train, I could still meditate. I could still find stillness within myself and be at peace. But it took some training and practice, although it did come naturally for me. But for most people it does take some training in general. And this is exactly what's going to happen for you most likely. Or maybe you are one of those that was born in that manner as well, where it was naturally easy for you to do. But if you start to practice this, once you've found this peace, once you've learned to control and calm down your mind enough, no matter what obstacles you face, you will notice you start to perceive solutions more easily to the problem that you were facing. And then you can start outgrowing and expanding in a bigger and better direction for yourself. It's no longer a struggle. It is a flow. It's like the wind is carrying you towards your destination. Because in spirit, it truly is. The spirit of life is carrying you to a destiny so profound and so beautiful. And your own dreams, your own desires are hinting at what that destiny will be. And that is absolutely incredible. Really think about it for yourself. If I go into nature, I just listen to the silence, to the calmness, and then I start thinking about what I want. Or I might start contemplating an issue that I'm having. And I just silently contemplate it there without worrying about it, without stressing myself over for a solution. I simply think about it like a stranger would, that isn't personally involved in the issue itself. And then you will see that nature, in this sense, the energy of nature, will come to guide you, will come to calm you, will come to comfort you, so that you can grow as an individual. It truly shows that nature has your back, if you let it. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.